And I tell the contractors, guys, you're great, I'll stay friends with you. But
Probably that was the decision of why you chose plumbing.
and basically I come out ahead, even better than it was before.
I hear you talking about advertising, marketing. Yes. Your company has grown to 3 million in revenue. Right, I understand.
In Ukraine, we were doing replacements, cleaning, and no one was taking care of it. No one even had the tools. It's hot still 23. 2023. Year.
What can I do to make my work more stable and consistent in my current role in the long term?
I'm making rearrangements there, changing people. Hello, everyone. And now we have on the podcast a very interesting guest, and what makes him interesting is that he had no business experience at all before coming to America. He has never been involved in business. He and his wife came here through work and travel. The war started, the status changed to TPS, and now there's already a business. For about a year with a partner, he's been in business. So we have a very interesting guest. Maxim, I greet you. It's very interesting what questions will come from someone who has never been in business and has just started.
In America first. I want to know more. It's interesting to hear about your companies.
Let's go.
In your case, your company has grown to 3 million in revenue, right? I understand? Yes. In a very short time.
Since 2017.
Since 2017?
8 years.
Many companies can't achieve this result, so to speak, in 10 years, but you managed to achieve it. Tell me, what's unique about your company?
I'm unique.
Yes.
And why? Because when you start a business, the business is a reflection of the owner. Who is the owner? And if he can push. No. So the uniqueness was that my approach was more client-oriented than just making money. I was really interested in creating a great service. If someone inquires and asks me, he's not on the schedule and says it's urgent to speak with me, I changed the schedule, rearranged people, and came in to get things done because he needed it urgently. So I adapted to people. And that allowed me to grow. I knew what I wanted every year. For example, the first year was just about surviving, earning enough not to starve. The second year, yes, okay, I needed constant work. Okay, I need contractors. And I started looking for contractors, working more with contractors. Then I started earning, realizing that yes, they exist. I've learned something, I know something, I'm working with contractors, but more money is going down the drain. I'm starting to move in that direction, slowly into the drain. And then I started earning in the drain. And I tell the contractors, guys, you're great, I'll stay friends with you, but my prices have gone up now. Because I have other people, other expenses. I can no longer work at the prices I started with. And I started doing it very cheaply because I needed at least some money. And I remained friends with them. I say, if you need it, here are my prices, call me, I'll come and do it. If not, find someone who does it cheaper. That is, I was honest with people. I didn't try to hustle them there to convince or explain why they should work with me, pay twice as much as they were paying before. So I told them honestly, but I was looking for where I had opportunities. Where can I earn more? And I always headed there.
What do you think? You chose plumbing for the money or for the fact that you already had, so to speak, experience in this in Ukraine? Money. The main goal was money.
Yes, I had friends who worked in plumbing and they didn't like that job, but they couldn't change that job because starting something new means starting from scratch and going back to a minimum wage. But there are already some expenses. And that's why I worked a little in construction in Ukraine, and I know that plumbers earn more money than anyone else in construction. So there is an opportunity, and I didn't know about air conditioning technicians back then, but you're still a bit crazy, right? Well, a little, another business model. It's hard for me to say where it's harder and where it's easier. I've never dealt with air conditioners. That's it. It was familiar to me. I know that I can make good money here because no one counts by the square meter. How much does a square meter cost? No one is interested in that. How much does the work cost? And you pay for the work, and there are opportunities and options for development. So I knew that I could make money in this direction. Well, I liked it. I can't say that I didn't like it, but I didn't go for that. I love plumbing. I'm going to do plumbing. No, because there's money there.
Okay, if we're talking about money, which services bring in the most money?
In general service or in my plumbing?
In your plumbing, specifically in flames, what service is the most popular and brings in the most money?
I'll tell a story. I see cars eating and everyone is advertising sewer cleaning, clearing the sewer, clearing the sewer. We were in Ukraine, we were doing replacements, clearing, no one was taking care of it, no one even had the tools. And clearing, we said, no, we don't do that. I say, what clearing? But then I realized that this is an entry point, because from the purge you sell a lot of work, and the main money is in the sewers. In the service business, the main money is in the sewers, in the old cast iron pipes, in replacements. Come in and say, yes, we're tearing apart your kitchen, we're tearing apart your bathroom, we're demolishing everything here and replacing the pipes. I couldn't even think at first about how to do it. But how did I get to this? There was a time when I did a sewer and did it wrong, and it started getting clogged every week because I made the wrong connection. And as a result, there was a problem. I found a cheaper guy on Craigslist who came, shoved a camera in there and said, well, there's a problem. I had to pay out of my own pocket, even though I didn't have a license. I could have just turned around and left. No one could tell me anything. Prove it and do it. I could have just turned around and left, and no one would have done anything to me. Because he built this place for Airbnb illegally, and according to the laws of Carlsberg, you needed to get permits for that. He was doing it without permits because there was nothing at all. Permits, he was doing it without permits. Because there was nothing at all, so I could have left and there was nothing, no questions asked of me at all. But I took responsibility for it. I did the work. I broke up the floor. I dug it up. I fixed the pipe. I filled it in. I poured concrete. I hired tile workers and they laid the tiles. I paid for all of this. As a result, this person who was working on the camera, I barely spoke English. At that time, it was really tough. I understood every 10th word. But what I understood was that he said, if there are problems with the sewer, give it to me. I'll come, sell it, do it, and we'll split the profit 50-50. I'm like, sure, let's do it. And then I get a call from some people saying, we have problems with the sewer. I'm watching everything unfold. And I call this guy, Sordo. He arrives with the camera guy and he says, dig there, fix that, it's $2,200. I make about $150, $200 a day. Here for a day's work, it's $2,200. I have hair like $2,200. So I go to the client and I say $1,800. I couldn't even mention $2,200 to him because that's a big amount. For me, it was $2,200. I thought that if I didn't have money, then no one else had money either. I couldn't mention that amount. I tell him $1,800. He agrees to $1,800. He digs there and gets it done. The materials cost $50 and we paid the assistant $150. And there was $300 left. Materials and the assistant, it cost $300. 6 cents. That was the earnings. We split it in half. 800 and 800. I myself, working all day, have never earned $800. And here I earned $800. I didn't do anything at all.
Probably that was the reason why you chose plumbing.
Well, it was like that. I was like $800. I didn't do anything at all. I earned $800 in a day doing nothing. And I realized that money goes down the drain. And I started to walk. It was hard. It was hard, slow. I did it cheaply. There were different options, but I was learning. Then the era of sealing, and little by little, I'm moving in that direction.
So tell me, what were the biggest challenges over the years? Could you please explain in detail how you were able to effectively manage the situation with them, to solve them?
It's hard still, 2023. 2023 year. At the beginning of the year, I'm making rearrangements, changing people. And at the start of the year, I'm making a lot of changes in the company, changing a lot of things all at once. And I have 2 people left. At that point, we had already made already 2 million. It was almost the turnover, 2 million in turnover at the beginning of the year. And I have two people left. Both of them don't speak English. One speaks Russian and Ukrainian, the other speaks Spanish.
It was difficult.
If you look at it realistically, there is no business. That's it. I was left with just the dispatcher. The supervisors left, the techs left, well, everyone. One left, then the second. I started making a lot of changes and people didn't like it. And then everyone was like, ship's going down, everyone scattered, until it sank, everyone scattered. There were two people left. What it was like, where to run, if so in any way, where to run. And realistically, there is no business. It's closed. It doesn't exist. But we were like, okay, nothing like that. And we went through worse. I hire people, I work. And basically I'm coming out with a pretty good plus, even better than it was before. With new people in the first 3-4 months. In May, I'm moving to the office and I'm thinking, I'm a hero. I'm so powerful. That's it. I'm in the office, I'm in a shirt. I don't work with my hands anymore. I take a person and I hire a great specialist, but the salary is over $20,000 a month. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. He was supposed to do a lot, but he didn't do what he was supposed to. In short, I'm handing over management. People are working, management is bad. And I start minus. I'm going minus. Thank you. There was also such a situation, I've already talked about it, but I promised to hold an event for pastors in Ukraine. And it cost $10,000. And I was in the minus for 3 months before that. But still, I promised I have to do it. I'm giving away 10,000, even though I'm still in the minus. In short, we're doing this event, and I'm asking the workers to pray so we can reach $350 a month to be in the plus. And in short, there's a pastor from the church, and he says that 350, how much help is being given here in Ukraine. And he says, I'm going to pray for 700. And in short, a contract for $700,000 comes through, which, we did in 45 days. I closed all the minuses that were before and ended up with a small plus. Although I was sure that I would go really deep into the minus this year, but by the end of the year, it was so hard, mentally and physically. I didn't want anything anymore. I just wanted to give up, even though I had broken even. It was a very tough year, and I almost gave up. But I know that I have a goal to pursue, and if I don't do this and give up, I will let down a lot of people. I gave them hope and the goal I set for myself. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm still going to move forward, and I will keep going. Therefore, you must have something that even when you want to give up, you won't back down, but you'll still get through it. Or someone or something else. Because, for example, if the goal is to have a house, then doing business up to $1 million, earning enough for a house is really not a problem. Being a handyman, more than just a handyman or a good handyman, you'll earn enough for a house. As a small contractor, you can earn enough for a house in America. So that's not the question. But building a business and going through all of this is the question.
Okay, how does the business handle the seasons?
There isn't really one. There are holidays when it quiets down a bit. New Year's now, January, the month, so it quiets down a bit. But there isn't really any seasonality, because if the plumbing isn't working, you don't care what season it is outside.
It's definitely true. I've noticed in my business that over the years, I have some seasonality more around the holidays for me. Less work.
Yes. Because people don't plan big projects during the holidays, so they postpone them. And of course, that reduces the profit, and that's because people postpone big jobs for the holidays. So for all the big jobs, the holidays are fewer and they get postponed. That's true, but that's not seasonality.
And also, the tax period. So now there will be a tax period. It starts on January 27th. Thank you. And I have this period too. Last year there was less work. What is it related to?
People are waiting for their tax refunds when the IRS returns their taxes and they can spend them. So the question here is about tax refunds, because a lot of people are getting tax refunds. They receive $3,000, $5,000, $7,000. cash back from the IRS. And when they get that money, they start spending it. So like the seasonality is starting, they are just waiting. So there were holidays. There were everything, those big projects, they kind of slow down a bit. But I was told in plumbing that January is always like that. Slow, there's no work. I've never had it like that. So maybe a little less, but for the first few days, I wouldn't just sit at home 4 or 5. Well, let's say up until 2020, 2021, right? Yeah, I never had a single day where I just sat at home because I had no work. So there was always something somewhere. Maybe it was a little small, not much money, but there was always something.
Can you give me some advice? So in my business, like in handyman work, there is seasonality. And there are a lot of periods like that. What strategies or methods can I implement to enhance the stability and reliability of my work performance and outcomes?
You need to find people like, for example, some property management.
It's more about commerce.
And what's the difference? They hire handymen. A lot property management works with handymen because a contractor won't go do some small repair for $100, $150, or $200. Handymen do that. Handymen do a lot of work for property management. So this can turn into a business. But you can start working with property management realtors because they are selling a house. And there are little things here and there that need touching up, painting, fixing up. A handyman is needed. So this kind of work. And these people will constantly give you jobs. So you build 3, 5, 7 contacts and they regularly give you small jobs. It won't be a big income. It will be small work, but it will stabilize you. It's the same thing I had with contractors. When I outgrew that, I said, sorry, not for me. It's not interesting to work for that kind of money at all. Let's move on to the next one. And you did 3 small jobs in a year, like so 70, 150, 200, $300 a day. I earned it. You won't earn that kind of money on a salary.
Yes, I agree with you. And today we were talking, I heard how you were discussing advertising, marketing. Yes, but I didn't understand which specific ad you were talking about. And
there are platforms that sell leads. There were ones like Angie's List. I tried with them. They didn't give me anything. There are platforms, eLocal. I don't know, depending on the handicap, you have to look at what platforms. But there are platforms that sell leads. And look at those leads that sell quality leads, not just any leads. And if it's not a quality lead, they refund the money. So we're looking at those platforms that refund money for non-qualified leads. So a qualified lead is a lead that you generate yourself. I need them to call me about these, those, and those questions. But if they call about other questions, the conversation is recorded. They say, yes, this is, like if this person called you by accident, we won't charge you for that person. From what I've seen, a lead for a handyman costs about $60, $70. If you're doing an ELP, the probability is much lower. You're spending a lot more and it won't work. Qualified leads, it's just you. I just logged in, took a look and didn't even call. And such platforms can deliver results.
And I'm more interested right now, which platform are you using?
Right now, the main ones are Yelp, Google, My Business. Do you have Google My Business?
Well, no.
You need to register for Google My Business?
What's budget there?
None, zero.
Google My Business platform, definitely.
This is the first thing. Yes, this is the location. And as a handyman, there are rules. Take a close look at YouTube. You have to unlock the house with your key, unlock the car with the key, show the things, show that you are engaged in this. You can register for your apartment, but you have to show all of this. There are rules. Watch the video carefully. The first thing to do is to make sure you don't get banned. Because there's a robot, it does everything. For the robot, make sure it sees that it's you. Then register for Google My Business, and there you can sign up for Google guarantees. So it gives, but this is a separate video about marketing. There's a lot of information there. Then there's the tag, eLocal. So a lot and lots of platforms. For example, write in JudgeGPT, what are the best platforms for handymen to buy leads? Well, the question is, and it gives, because I won't say much about handyman work,
I understand for myself that I need to use. I'm more interested, which specific platform are you using at the moment?
The main ones are Yelp and Google My Business and Google Guarantee. These are the main ones I'll provide. I'm just starting to work with other platforms now, signing one contract, and there will be a second interview. So I underestimated this option, but I see that you can develop and grow the business faster there. And I'm interested in that. I'm going to try in this direction now.
I'm really more interested in how you got to where you are now.
It was advertising, not just advertising, but also acquaintances, recommendations, and connections. So it was a long journey. If I had started killing leads much earlier, I would have already grown much faster. So I worked more through word of mouth and with contractors. And when I started doing advertising and moving a bit, it was really tough to get through the first moments because you earn, you work, you earn. But there, for example, I work and earn personally 60,000 a month. Well, after expenses, materials, everything is left with 40,000. I pay for car insurance and spend 10 on advertising. I didn't bring anything home, just for living. Well, it's tough.
Okay, the next question. How do you communicate with the client? And what do you do if a client says that the price is too high or asks you to compare with a competitor?
It was a very long journey for me to understand pricing. It was so bad. A lot, a little, everything is different. But then I chose what works for me, the prices that work for me. Okay, I'll do it for this amount, that's fine with me. Some charge twice, 3 times more, okay, but some charge half, a third less. So this is my price, I do this for that amount. This is how I value myself. The question is, do you have enough leads to justify that price? And if there aren't any, and you need work, and there's nothing to live on, then you agree to a lower price. So that's your internal question that no one will answer for you. You personally have to come to this.
That is, if you have a lot of work, then you can give a price a little more. You can set a higher price.
And if the client doesn't agree, then don't agree. But if you don't have that option, you need to take the job at any price. So you lower the price to earn something rather than just sitting at home.
Yes, I remember. How do you assess the impact of reviews on your business? And what do you do to maintain a high rating?
Reviews are number one. We get paid 25s for each review they take. So reviews, and for that you need Google My Business because that's where the reviews are. So the sooner you start gathering reviews, when will you reach the point where you start advertising and your competitors will have 500 or 1,000 reviews while you have 0? Well, you'll spend half a year to a year gathering reviews. And if you start gathering reviews now and you reach a certain level, when you actually need them and they will matter, you'll already have 50 reviews. Because there is a platform that sells people but it only works if you have at least 50 reviews on Google My Business, 4.5 to 5 stars. If you have less than 50, they won't even talk to you. Reviews are very important. And start gathering reviews as early as possible on Yelp and Google My Business.
Okay, please tell me, last question. You currently have a company turnover of 3 million.
Yes.
What are your plans for the next year? How can you make it so that from these 3 million, your percentage has increased? Than 8 like last year.
It's in the organization. Thank you. I don't know if it will be because we are actively developing and growing. So I don't know what the percentage will be. I'm not going to program it. I have a question not about the percentage, but how much I will earn. I'm more interested in the question, gross revenue, how much the company's turnover will be and how much I will grow. What is the potential of this company? So if I were planning to sell the company, I would show the earnings because then I would get paid more. But since I don't plan to sell the company, I don't focus on the percentage and earnings. I focus on business development because there is a large reinvestment back into the business.
All right, thank you, Vlad. Thank you, Maxime. It was nice.
Very nice.
Interview.
Subscribe to the channel If you like this and if you're interested in this conversation, please leave comments, give likes, write comments, so that more people can see this information and find it interesting too, and they can learn more about how to start a business and how to do business in America in general. So make sure to subscribe, it's very important, and thank you for your attention.